Hello and welcome back to my knitting podcast. It has been a while again. It has been 2 months exactly, and that's just because the past 2 months have been very busy for me. And when I wanted to do the knitting podcast for May, I did not have a lot of things to show you, so I thought I'd just postpone it to now and do a knitting podcast on May and June. And so here we are. I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Anne-Fleur. I'm a creative from the Netherlands. I knit, I sew, I read, but mostly knitting. And that's what this podcast is about. It's just a regular podcast format. So first of what I'm wearing, then what I finished, and then what I'm working on. So let's just get into all the knitting. I hope you're doing well. It's very hot here in the Netherlands. We've got a heat wave going on for the past 2 weeks now. No rain at all, which is very sad for all the farmers and just the plants in general. But I hope you've got a cold drink if it's hot where you are, and otherwise a nice warm drink. And let's just get into all the knitting. So first off, what I'm wearing. I am wearing a finished object. So a finished object I finished in the past month, I believe, in June. Yes, halfway in June I finished this top, which is the Toni vest by Susanna Müller. And I knit this in La Mana Como, which is just a wool, merino wool I believe. It's very soft. I've knit with La Mana before, their Como Grande, and that was also very soft, but one downside of the La Mana is that it pills a lot. I don't really mind because I can just depil it, but just a fair warning, it does pill, but you get a very soft yarn in return. So La Mana Como, not much to add about this. It's a lovely top, it fits great. One thing I have with my posture, one tiny problem, is that the bag always sits a bit high on my neck, and then the front is always a bit short, so I try to accommodate that by getting a few more rows in the front, and then everything should be fine. So I've worn this a lot, basically since I finished this. I've worn it twice or thrice a week, so that's a lot for me. And it's like 13 degrees Celsius here now in the Netherlands, and I can just wear this, and it's wool, so I'm totally fine when I stay in the shade, but that's just in general because in the sun it's just too hot. So my Toni vest, that's what I'm wearing, and I'm wearing handmade shorts, but I'll show you my finished sewing objects in a bit. Okay, to get into my finished objects, I have 2 more finished objects, so that's what I meant, that I did not knit a lot. Well, that is a lot still. I finished 3 objects in 2 months, so that is still a lot. First off is my Mandi sweater. This is a test knit I did for Knitters and Friends. I kindly got selected and I chose wool dreamers, not their Mota, but also not their Saona, but Cautiva, wool dreamers Cautiva as a yarn. I just held a single. It's very small gauge, so it did work out. I used the recommended needle size, but I had to add more rows. And if you watched my knitting podcast before, you know that is a recurring problem. So the Mandi sweater, it has some very pretty details like the sleeve and the ribbing at the beginning of the sleeve, German short rows, and this very pretty neckline, and then a rolled hem on the bottom. One thing I should say about this pattern, it's very clearly written, but it should be a bit longer, and that's my own doing because I was impatient and I thought it's long enough, and then I just bound off. But it's a bit short. The length is okay, it's not too short, but the pattern itself is written a bit longer, and I think I would prefer that. So maybe I might go back and add some length, because I still have some yarn left over, so I could do that. And it's just yarn over bind off, so this one pulled over the next one or something. So it's very easy to rip out. So I might go back and reknit that. So that's my Mandi sweater. It is Wool Dreams Cautiva is a merino wool, but it is very hot. And as I said, it's very hot here in the Netherlands, so I can't wear it right now. I do wear it on colder evenings. It does cool down a lot at night, so that's still nice. I would like to knit a cotton sweater or cotton cardigan, but I'm not sure yet which pattern and which yarn, so might need to think about that. But if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments, because summer flies by and we're already in July, so then we've got August, and in September you want to go and knit on autumn and winter knits. So let me know if you have any recommendations. But this is the Mandi sweater, and you can also knit this in a cotton yarn, but I don't like to knit the same pattern twice, so I'm not going to do that. But you could also knit this in a cotton yarn. It's also written for that. So that's my Mandi sweater. And then the last finished object is my Easypeasy bandana, also by Susanna Müller. You'll see in this episode that there's a lot of Susanna Müller. And this is also in Lamana Como. I had this in stash because I was supposed to do a test knit for someone else, but did not end up joining in the test knit because I was just too busy. So I dropped out of that test knit, and I had this Lamana Como, which I also used for a hat in the winter. And now I use the leftover yarn for this scarf, and it's too hot to wear it right now. I can just put it on quickly. I'm going to keep it on because it's just too hot. But I've worn it a lot already. I love a good big scarf shawl pattern. This color combination is also quite cool. Okay. So the Easypeasy bandana. It's just a very easy pattern. You can easily knit this as a beginner. If you saw my 10 scarves you can knit after the Sophie scarf video, then you'll know that I also mentioned this scarf, and it is very easy and beginner friendly, and it's free. You can just download it for free on Ravelry. So my Easypeasy bandana. And that's it on finished objects. Well, I do have some sewing finished objects, but I will do those in the end. So, knitting finished objects, and now I'll go into all my whips. So I have got 3 whips. I have more whips, but they're in hibernation. So I think I have got about 6 whips, and then 3 in hibernation and 3 active whips. So I'll get into those active whips. First off is my Sabai top by Susanna Müller, again. And this one is actually almost finished. I actually finished it yesterday, but then I ripped it back and started over. I did not rip back the entire way, but I did the bind off again because it was a bit wonky. So I'm adding like 3 more centimeters and then doing the bind off again because it was also a bit short. So the Sabai top, and I'm knitting this in Camisole's Love Tent, if I'm saying that correctly, which is a 100% linen yarn, so it's a bit scratchy, a bit harsh, but it'll soften with wear. And I knitted a plain yoke tee with this yarn last year, but I ran out of yarn and I did not want to spend more money on that top because it is a quite expensive yarn. So I just frogged that top, and now I'm knitting the Sabai top from it, which is almost finished, and I'm excited because I got to wear it yesterday when I almost finished it, and it looks great. So on my way to finish that, I'll probably finish it tonight, so you'll see it finished in my next knitting podcast. But this is the Sabai, and I'm also excited to finish this because we're going on a holiday to Austria in like 2 days time, so I want to bring this, and I think I can, so I'll just keep on knitting on this. Just like 6 more rows to go, and I've got this much yarn left, so I'll probably use up all my yarn, which is also great. So that's the Sabai. That's my first summer knit this year that I'm going to finish. Well, if you count the Toni vest as a summer knit, then the second, but it is wool, so I'm not sure it is a summer knit. But okay, next up is my, let's see, clay tee by Ozetta. And if you have watched my previous podcast, I also already mentioned this then. It has been hibernating for a bit because I was focused on the Toni vest and the Mandi sweater because that was testknit and I needed to finish that. So I picked it back up again. Needs to do more, like 20 centimeters, 15 to 20 centimeters more on the body, and then just 2 short sleeves, and then it will be done. Oh, and the color, of course. I'm using Drops Bell for this, and I made a top in Drops Bell last year, and I love that top because it's very soft. It's like cotton, linen and viscose. It's the same combination as a sandless garline, so a great substitute if you want to save some money. They don't have as much colors, but I do love this as a summer yarn. So that's the clay tee. I am actually excited to finish this, but it's taking a while. And I'm getting a bit annoyed by all the purl rows, which is actually because I'm knitting a lot of cardigans right now, and then you'll have to do a purl row every other row, so I shouldn't be annoyed by purl row now and then. So but slow and steady progress. I need need to do 3 more of these repeats. So if I say it like that, then it's not a lot. And I'm going to work on this after my Sabai top. I also need to do a test knit, but I'll talk about that in a bit. So my clay tee, that's my second active whip. Then I have a very woolly knit that I don't want to touch right now because it's way too hot, and it's getting very hot in here too, so I need to quickly finish up filming. This is my Hanni cardigan, if you can see it, because it's scrunched and rolled up. It's not much yet. I did join in the round and I have done like 3 centimeters of the body. It's on 4.5mm needles, so it is going by quite quickly. I'm not working a lot on this because I want to finish the Sabai. I want to finish all my summer knits before summer is over, and this just does not have the priority right now. I'm knitting this in drops, no, not drops, knitting for Olive heavy merino and knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color plum clay, which looks a lot like this Lamana Como color, and this Lamana Como color is called brown, just plain brown, and it's not brown to me, it's more like a purpley brown. That's also what this shade is called. It's called plum clay, so purpley brown. And this is my first full garment with knitting for Olive. I did do a scarf knitting for Olive, but never a full garment. So this is my first, and I am loving it so far. I love that the stitches look so even with this yarn. This is the Hanni cardigan with some German short rows, which are very visible, but I'm not really annoyed by that. It's fun to make something and then that you can see that it is a bit handmade. I love when a finished object is so finished that it looks store-bought, but I also love these little quirks, so it doesn't look entirely store-bought. So that's my Hanni cardigan, and I hope to have this finished before autumn arrives, so I can wear it then. And I am obsessed with this color right now. I also bought a cotton yarn, drop saffron, which I'm going to knit up into a top, which is also in this color. So then I've got a lot of this color, but I just like it, and it suits me, if I may say so. So that is my Hanni cardigan, and that marks all my whips. So now I've got one more knitting topic to discuss, and that is my test knit that I'm doing for Mono Knit Editions. I've done a lot of her test knits, and I got to do this test knit too. And I'm going to knit the Mono Roll Camisole. I'll put this picture up on the screen. In Drops Bell, also in Drops Bell, in the color Orchids, if I'm pronouncing it alright. It's just like lilac. I wanted a lilac top for summer, and then I saw her test knit call and I applied and saw that Drops Bell was the recommended yarn, together with Sandnes Garn Line and Tin Line and another yarn which I can't remember. But that means that I can knit a purple top this summer. So I'm going to cast this on as soon as my Sabai top is finished, so I can bring it with me to Austria. So another look on this beautiful purpley yarn. I don't know if you can see, but the one thing that I love about drop spell is that you see all the different colors in the yarn. So it gets a bit of a mild effect, but it's very toned down. So just all marvels together. So that is my upcoming plan. I do a plans bit at the end of every knitting podcast I do, but I almost never keep to my plans because then I get other ideas and then just abandon all my plans. But this plan I am going to do because it's a test knit and I need to get it finished by the beginning of August. So the mono roll camisole in the making. So that's all for knitting today. If you're not here for the sewing, then I thank you very much for watching. Leave a nice comment. I love to chat with you, and I'll see you next time. And now let's get into sewing. Okay, for sewing I just did a 24-hour sewing challenge, which I also filmed, and that will be up on my YouTube next week, I think. So this week the knitting podcast, next week the vlog. I have a lot of finished sewing objects, but if you want to see them all, you need to watch that vlog next week. But now I'll just show you a bit, and also some sewing objects, finished objects that I did a while ago. So the first sewing object that I finished is this cushion cover. I had the idea from Merchants and Mills house. I went to Merchants and Mills last April to their store in England, and was very inspired. I bought this fabric. That's also Merchants and Mills. It's a cotton and linen blend, and I made this cushion cover. I just self-drafted it, but they also have a pattern if you want to have a pattern. So there's just a regular cushion with a cushion cover inside, and then I made another cover which gives this effect. And I'm just in love. I love this. It just looks so fun. I made two, and they're on my bed. So both my partner and I have one, and it's just great. It looks nice. It feels nice. The cushion is also nice. It's an IKEA cushion, but it's very puffy, so that's great. So that's the first finished sewing object. I don't know what to say about it more. I just love this. It looks cute. It also looks cute here in the living room. So maybe I need to make more. But for now, this is for my bedroom, and I could also always just put it in the living room for a bit and then in my bedroom again. So we'll just have to see. So that's my finished cushion cover, and then the next finished sewing object is or are these shorts. The front and the back look exactly the same. That's because I did a little trick and added back pockets which flow over into the front pockets, and they're not perfectly aligned, which bothers me a lot, but that's okay. So these are the Archer pants by Matchy Matchy Shoe Club, and I just shortened them. And they also have a sewing pattern, a shorts sewing pattern, which does these pockets, one on the front and on the back. crossing over into each other. So if you would want to make that, you could also buy that pattern. But I already had the archer pants pattern and thought I can just shorten them and then do the pockets. And it looks like this. And one thing about the archer pants, they fit me very well. So I thought, why not make some shorts with this pattern. So these are the archer pants shorts pattern. So, and I made 3 of these, so that's a lot. I did not have a lot of shorts. I had 1 pair of shorts that fit me, and I thought I'd make some more. So I made 3 more, so I've got a lot of shorts now, enough for the coming years. And the fabric, this is made in Fabulism gingham fabric, which is a cotton in this olivey and white colors, which I think are cute, and they're just the perfect pair of shorts. I'm also wearing another pair of them right now in a, I don't know if you can tell, in like green linen, which pair very nicely with this top. So that's all, I guess. For plans for sewing, I am planning on making some tops because, well, not that I don't have tops, but I have some fabric and I thought I'd make some tops, and I want to make some dresses. So if you want to see those, then tag along for the next podcast, and I'll just finish this podcast off here. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!